Hey guys, it's me again. It is a rainy October morning, but I had such a great morning today, you guys. So I had to hop on and share a little bit about the speaking event that I just finished up. So a while back, a friend of mine asked if I would speak at their beauty school, and I was like, sure, shoot me some dates and times, let's get something in the books. I'd love to start booking more events. And so when she asked me, I was like all in, like, yep, can't wait to do it. So anyways, earlier this week, I looked at, my planner, because I like to kind of set up my week on Sunday-ish, and I'm like, oh man, that event is this week. Like, I need to prepare for it. And I kind of like forgot about it, in the back of my head, because I don't like to think too far in advance, because otherwise then that worry, that stress, that overwhelm kind of consumes us with all of the things that we need to get done. So I tend to break it down into, week by week, day by day. And that seems to work better for me. So yesterday was Tuesday. I don't know what day you'll be listening to this. So yesterday was Tuesday, and I had a full day of work, met with some clients, and I did a few other things. And then I had a junior league training that I had to go to. And so then I got back home, and it was a little after 8 o'clock. So it was a really full day. My days typically aren't that full, but with some of the house reno that we've been doing, and things are really starting to pick up for me in terms of business. So I have to really be intentional with my time. But anyways, so today I kind of overbooked myself, I guess you would say, and that doesn't happen very often, but it did. So when I got home at 8:30 at night, I still had to go over my presentation for this morning. And I was like, dang it, okay, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And so instead of, sitting there like thinking about how unprepared I was and blah, 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 all that negative thought, I was just like, whatever, like, let's get to work. I have plenty, and I don't know if you guys can hear the rain or not, I have plenty of these PowerPoints from previous presentations. I'm just going to pick and choose a few of the things out of my previous presentations and kind of put a new swing on it for this beauty school. And that's exactly what I did. I think it took me a little over an hour to do. And when I first started doing these presentations, it would take me like an entire day, if not multiple days, to come up with these presentations. But now, practice makes progress, and I've been able to really narrow it down on what it is that I want to speak about. And so today I really brought it back to basics, because I wasn't sure of my audience, right? And so I want to make sure that I'm speaking to my audience, meeting them where they're at. I don't want to like come at them with like these big worldly concepts if they haven't even taken a first step into personal development, right? That would be unfair of me. That would be me setting them up for failure, because they're not going to know what the hell it is that I'm talking about. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to bring it back to basics, and I'm going to kind of like read the crowd. And so I really kind of talked about what is personal development. What is personal development? What is personal development to you? What personal development are you doing in your life? And there was one person in particular who does a lot of professional development. And I'm like, okay, great. A lot of us really get hung up like on our jobs, and like we just want to be better. We want to make more money. We want to do more things. And that's all fine and dandy. Like, I am all for professional development, but I also want you to look into personal development. Making yourself a better person will help you in all areas of your life. You'll be able to manage your time, your energy, your money, your relationships. You'll start to look and feel better when you start to work on yourself. And so people will naturally start to see this. You will start to see this. Your family and friends will be like, oh, wow, like, you're happy. What are you doing? Or you'll start to, have better connections with your coworkers or with your spouse, or the list is endless when you start working on yourself, like deep down self, not like superficial, like do your hair in the morning, which I did do my hair this morning. Whoop, whoop. I'm calling that a win. Actually, I didn't like do it because I don't really, honestly, I own one curling iron. It's probably like 15 years old. So I need to get a new one. That's just something that I need to do. It hasn't been a priority, but if I could like hire somebody to do my hair every day, I totally would. So let's just go ahead and put that on the dream board. But I blow dried it and I straightened it, and I'm calling that a win because I don't do that very often and for very many people. So these people were special to me, and I was like, I'm going to try to put myself together. Oh, and then the other thing, so I was going to wear my Be Brave t-shirt that I made for my conference or whatever, and I knew I should have went with my gut. I always say this, go with your gut, wear it, and I didn't. And so the gal that invited me to do the event, she wore the Be Brave shirt, and I was like, damn it, how cool would it have been if we both had our Be Brave shirts on? And I should have went with my gut. That's all I can say is trust your gut, guys. Even I need those subtle reminders, because as soon as I walked in the door and I saw that she had, or as soon as I saw her and I saw she had her Be Brave t-shirt, I was like, I knew it. I knew I should have worn it. I should have packed it and I should have changed, but whatever, neither here nor there. I'm not going to dwell on it. I'm just going to start listening to my gut a little more often. So anyways, back to this presentation. What I was talking about was personal development, and one of the top things on personal development is self-care. We usually preach to other people like, you need to take care of yourself, but we're not so quick to take our own advice. So I want to ask you right now, like, what are you doing for self-care? What are you doing for self-care, like on a deeper level? And so some of the suggestions that I gave, and for you longtime listeners, this is not going to be anything new to you, but for some of you newbies, this might be. Meditation. I cannot stress enough how important it is to be okay with your own thoughts and just recognizing them as what they are, thoughts. And there's many different types of, there's many different types of meditation. There's like gratitude meditation, no stress meditation, walking meditations. There's music and frequency meditations. I mean, the list is endless, and you just kind of gotta go out there and figure out what works for you. So you can Google meditations or look on YouTube for meditations. Some of the apps that I recommended, are Headspace, Calm. What's the other one? Simple Habit. I like that one. And then if you're like hippie woo-woo, Abraham Hicks. I really like Abraham Hicks. She's a genius, and she's law of attraction, manifestation, universe stuff. And that is like right up my alley. So we talked a little bit about personal development, and being mindful and protecting your energy. Like, how often do we let what other people think, say, feel, and do affect our day, our entire day? We talked about morning routines, how important it is to set up a morning routine that works for you, which goes into like a comparison, right? So I was talking to one of the gals, and she's like, well, I work at a bar at night, so I don't get home till super late. And I'm like, so then my morning routine, my 5 a.m. morning routine would not work for you, right? So let's not compare apples to oranges here. It would be unrealistic to expect her to get home at 2 o'clock in the morning and then turn around and be a 5 a.m.er. Like, that's not realistic. So it's sitting back and really taking a deep dive look into your life and what is going to work best for you without fear of judgment, without comparing, and without letting other people determine what it is that you are going to be doing with your life. So if you want to be a 7 a.m. morning person, be a 7 a.m. morning person. Don't say it with confidence and do it. Don't let somebody who is not a morning person at all, or somebody who's a 5 a.m.er, say like, oh, you're not doing it right because blah, 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 blah. Like, if it works for you and you know it works for you, trust in that, okay? As long as you are focusing on becoming 1% better every day, you will get there. Or you will continue to get better, I should say. There's no magic pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, as some would think, which is another thing that we talked about. Just starting. The other day I was talking a little bit about starting messy. I think we get too wrapped up in how it needs to look, and we just need to start and do those incremental upgrades. Like I was, who was I talking to about? Oh, come on, guy. I don't know who I was talking about, but incremental upgrades, right? So I think a lot of us get wrapped up in that, if we start exercising, it has to be an hour-long exercise, or we have to run 3 miles for it to be worthwhile. And that's totally false. You don't need to do any of that stuff. You just need to take baby steps. So if you've never exercised a day in your life, it would be unrealistic expectations for you to say, okay, now I'm going to work out 5 days a week, an hour a day each week. No, chances of you failing that and quitting that are pretty high. Okay, that's pretty balls to the wall, and that's a drastic change, and it's really hard for us to create consistency with super drastic changes. So When we break it down into baby steps, it's much more sustainable long term, and you end up seeing longer lasting results. So going back to the working out, if you've never worked out before in your life, maybe something that you could start with is a 10-minute walk every day, a 15-minute walk every day, just a walk. Try it for a week, see how it goes. After that, you're like, okay, 15-minute walk every day, that's going pretty well. Maybe I'll up it to 20. Maybe I'll up it to 25 the week after that, and incrementally increase it. Or maybe you increase the speed. Maybe you're running on a treadmill and you're like, okay, I only have 15 minutes to work out every day. Maybe you start walking at like a 2 or 3 miles per hour, right? Like that's pretty slow, casual pace. I shouldn't say slow. It's pretty... Oh my God, you guys, I'm dying all of a sudden. Hang on. Holy shit balls. Okay. Ugh. So say you're going at like a 2 or a 3, like that's a pretty casual pace. If you want to increase your speed, that is also an incremental upgrade. So let's say that you start like a 3, and then the next day you go to a 3.2, and then you go to a 3.4, and then you go to a 3.6, and then you go to a 3.8, and you just keep increasing it to where like you're finally at like a steady jog in 15 minutes. And who knows, you could probably run 2 miles in 15 minutes when you get up to it. That's a pretty solid workout. I don't know why I'm dying all of a sudden. Oh, it's like I have cotton mouth. I'm not even smoking pot. What is happening? Okay. Get it together, Sasha. Whew. Okay, so then going back to like just speaking in front of people in general. So I'm like reading the crowd and I'm looking around, and some people are, like really into it. And I'm like, yes, you are my people. Like those are the people that you want to focus your attention on. And I look around and some people are kind of like looking at their phones. And I did ask them to like take notes on their phones because nobody there had pen and paper. I shouldn't say nobody, but I didn't see anybody with pen and paper. So I'm like, get out your notes in your phone and take notes. I know everybody has their phone on them. There's no excuse not to answer these questions. But then I started looking around and I'm like, okay, there was like one girl falling asleep. There's another girl yawning. There's another girl like talking. And I'm like, you're not my people. And that's okay. Either at first I'm like, oh, what can I do to help them engage? What can I do to help them engage? And so I was, in my head as I'm talking, thinking about revamping my whole presentation on just a few people that weren't paying attention. Like, are you kidding me? I was going to throw my whole plan out the window just to try to get a couple people's attention when I already had majority of the classroom's attention. But this is just how like people's brains work, right? And I was like, no. Don't put your energy where it is wasted, right? Like if they want to pay attention, they will pay attention. And I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I am very well aware of that. Like I am too much for a lot of people. I'm high energy. I can be loud. I can be obnoxious. I can be whatever. And so I just have to remind myself that I'm not everybody's cup of tea, and maybe they're not on a journey of personal development and they're not here for it. Like they just don't care. Like they're just sitting there because they have to sit there, and this is just going in one ear out the other. So why would I waste time trying to get them invested in me if they're not willing to invest in themselves, right? And so I saw that and I noticed that, and I'm getting a lot better at reading a crowd. And so I veered away from my presentation a little bit because people did, they asked questions and they were engaging in certain things. So I would dive a little bit deeper into that topic, right? That's kind of being that flexible person. So like we all have a goal, but we sometimes will change how we get to that goal. We course correct as needed. We don't have to achieve every step, every slide of the PowerPoint 100%. We don't have to read it word for word. We just have to get out there and we have to do it. We have to take action. And then we have to kind of follow that path, that detour as they happen, right? Some things need a little bit more attention than others. Does this make sense, you guys? I hope this is making sense. So anyways, that was my morning. And I really love when I can get in front of people and engage with people and kind of be like their first step or their next step in personal development. And even afterwards, you guys, like I had couple handfuls of people like, hey, do you do one-on-one coaching? Hey, do you do this? And I'm like, yes, I do. Like, I would love to help you. And I didn't feel comfortable like pitching myself to these people. I didn't feel like that was the right time or the right place. I am not above pitching myself. Like, I feel like I am an excellent coach. I love working one-on-one with people. And and even some group stuff. And I love speaking events. Like, I feel like I'm very good at it, but I feel like this was more of an educational presentation rather than a pitch, and I hate going to presentations where I'm like, okay, I just want the information, and then the entire time they just pitch themselves, right? So I told them, if you want more information, like, see me after class kind of thing. I'd be happy to, answer any questions that you have, or maybe see if you're a good fit. And so that was kind of the day. And when I got done, I don't know, I felt really good about it. It was weird because I wasn't nervous at all, like at all. I mean, like a little bit right before I walked in, because I was like, oh man, what am I getting myself into? Sometimes when you don't know your crowd, you're kind of like, oh, what if this happens? What if that happens? But overall, I think it went really well. Compared to when I first started doing these presentations, like I could not, or these like events, I could not sleep at night. Like I would stay up all night being like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And like I slept pretty good last night. My son was up having a party majority of the night. So, I was able to sleep in between his little party animal hours. But that's neither here nor there. Like I just wasn't like super nervous about it. I wasn't freaking out. I wasn't anything. It just felt good. And that's kind of what we're going for, right? We want to feel in alignment. And so speaking events and presentations and things like that are in alignment with how I want to feel. They make me feel happy. They make me feel fulfilled. I feel passionate about it. I feel abundant when I can give back to others by sharing information that has worked for me that hopefully will help them. So I gave a bunch of tools and resources, just like I do with, with you guys on here. Going back to like the Miracle Morning, if you're very new into personal development, the Miracle Morning was one of the very first things that I did. And to this day, I still do it. They call it the Savers Program. They do silence, affirmations, visualizations, exercise, read, and journaling, scribe, right? And then some of the other things, I guess, that I had mentioned, were the meditation apps, just journaling in general, having accountability, Mel Robbins 54321. I threw some other personal development people out there. And I don't know, overall, it just felt really, really good. So what is going really well in your life right now? Like, what do you feel good about? What gets you excited about the day? And if you're like, I don't know, Sasha, I don't know, I want you to sit with that. Like, what can you do today to be excited about being alive? What can you do to be excited about your life and about the direction that you're going? Because when you create the excitement, you create that momentum. And our life is like a roller coaster. We have these valleys and these mountains, we have these highs and these lows. But if you can find the joy and the excitement and the happiness and do more of those things, you're going to start gaining speed, right? And you're going to start building momentum. And it is going to be so hard to stop that momentum. It's going to be like a train going 70 miles an hour. Like nothing is going to stop that train. Compared to if you're just kind of going like, 10 or 15 miles an hour. If you're still going, you're going. But I'm just saying, when you start to build that momentum, that energy keeps going. A body in motion stays in motion. You just keep going. You bring that excitement into every area of your life. If you really focus on one, like your personal development and just like becoming a better person and feeling like a better person, that will spill over into other areas of your life. It will spill over into relationships, into your money, into your work, into all kinds of things, guys. So I just want you to take a minute, and ask yourself, what am I doing for self-care today? What types of personal development am I taking time for? And it doesn't have to be a lot, you guys. Like, you could do personal development in as little as like 10 or 15 minutes a day. Boom, feel good, have an awesome day. So that's me. And then I am going to pitch myself because you know what? It's my podcast and I do what I want. So I am accepting applications for one-on-one clients. I'm not running like an active like group program right now, but I do have a few spots for one-on-one clients if one-on-one is something that you're interested in. It's more of a program tailored to you. You will have access to the group that I've been working with, but I want to work with you more on a one-on-one, in a one-on-one nature. So if that's something that sounds up your alley, I've kind of tweaked my plans a little bit. So even if you've applied before, excuse me, I just like drooled on myself. Even if you've applied before, apply again. Like, let's get on the phone, let's chat, let's see if it's a good fit for you now. Sometimes we're just not ready. And if now feels like a good time, then let's talk. You know, I that's all it is a free conversation to see where you're at, where you want to be, and if I can be of service in some way, shape, or form. Okay. So if that interests you, go to sashadavis.com/apply now. Or you can hit me up on Instagram, DM me, sasha.davis, and let's just open up the conversation. Okay. If nothing else, I'll make a few recommendations on where you can start and we'll go from there. All right, guys, have a kick-ass day. Thank you for listening to the Confidence Coach podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, I want to invite you to leave a 5-star review and share what you loved most about this episode. You can also screenshot and share it on social media. Tag me at sasha.davis. And if you're looking for additional resources, head on over to sashadavis.com. Check out ways that you can work with me and all the free resources that are available to you. Have a kick-ass day.